Thank you very much. Please take a seat. It's 7:13. Welcome to our regular council meeting. It's November 12, 2019. It's 7:13. And I'm clerk.
Vice Mayor Keys. Here. Councilman Desilme.
Here.
Councilwoman Estime Irvin.
Present.
Councilman Galvin.
Here.
Mayor Bieneme.
Here.
Mayor, you have a quorum to proceed.
Thank you very much. Again, welcome to our regular council meeting. And now we're going to flip it. We're going to have our invocation first with Commander Angelo Branson. Then we're going to have our Pledge of Allegiance with Major Timothy Bletcher.
Let's all bow. Father in heaven, we all come before your throne of grace at this time, giving thanks for all blessings which come from you and you alone. We thank you for giving us the opportunity to gather here tonight to go about the business of the great city of North Miami. We hope and pray that everything said and done during these proceedings will be for the uplifting of the great city of North Miami. Let's all say amen.
Amen. And we all place our hands over our heart. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. Mr. City Manager, do you have any addition, deletion, amendment, or deferral to the agenda at this time?
Yes, sir. I need to remove tab J from the consent agenda for discussion.
Give me a second. You want to
Remove tab J from the consent agenda for discussion. I need to remove the census update, which we'll get at the next meeting. And I need to remove tab O.
Let me see. You need to remove tab O.
Yes, sir.
Is there a specific reason? Do you need you don't need guidance from us, or you just wanna
No, I
make
need.
the decision and bring it back?
I will bring it back to a future meeting. I need to have a further discussion with the city attorney on the item.
Thank you very much.
Mr.
Yes.
Mayor, sorry.
Yes, go
So when
ahead.
the media calls us tomorrow, because that's the gorilla in the room.
Okay, do you wanna?
Right. No. I'm okay to move it, but I want to be able to say something more than, oh, he's got to talk to the attorney. Talk to the attorney about what? What's the problem?
If you allow, I'll brief you after the meeting.
Because understand and the administration have to come up with a recommendation, and as of
Yeah.
right now, they're not ready to make any recommendation.
Yeah, no, and I agree with it, actually,
That's
because all
what
my
it is.
questions tonight were going to be for Mr. Cazot.
Yeah.
About
Yes,
legally
yes,
what
yes.
our options are.
That's when they're not ready to answer your questions, and that means they need to come up maybe with a different recommendation. That's why they table the item. Thank you very much, and now special presentation.
Oh, tab J is the item. Oh, okay. No, thank you.
Sorry.
That was the tab.
I took
Yeah.
care of you, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I was somewhere. Thank you. Are we going to? Did we vote on it?
Yes.
No. Do we need to vote?
Presentations.
Is Miss? Yeah, presentation.
Oh, where's our PIO?
No, we're gonna do.
Oh, Pauline.
And now, Mr. Sidad, the agenda is set, right?
Actually, I just want to have just a question, because we do it different times every time we pull an item. If we're pulling the item for off consent for discussion, are you planning to take it out, have the discussion, and then put it back in and vote on the item as part of consent?
Yeah,
or are
but
you taking it out as a separate
for
item?
removal the item from the consent for discussion, we're gonna do that after. Now, I just wanna set the agenda.
Well, that's my question before setting the agenda. So is it your purpose to take out the item, discuss it, and then put it back in and then vote on it?
We will decide that after. We're not voting on. We wanna. You wanna know what direction we're gonna take?
Yeah. So as we're discussing,
We're
the
gonna
agenda,
discuss it and then put it back
and
on
then
the
put it back in
consent.
the
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
understood. Okay. Then
Thank
the
you.
agenda is set, sorry, you may proceed.
Thank you very much. Now we're going downstairs for special
Wait,
presentation.
Where we, down? Okay. Oh, no, because she was. This is-
Presentation. Where's the presentation? Again, good afternoon, and I want to thank everyone who participated yesterday in our Veterans Day celebration, and it seems like we continue to do that because in the city of North Miami, it should be every day for us to honor those who serve this great nation. And now let me call Councilwoman Marie-Estimée Irvin from District 3 for a special presentation.
Good evening, everyone. Again, this is Mary Estimée Irvin, and as the mayor just mentioned, in the spirit of Veterans Day, we'd like to take out the time to say Happy Veterans Day to everyone and honor everyone, but in particular, a veteran that actually lives in our very city, and in particular in District 3. So today I have the pleasure of talking about Master Sergeant Clarence Walter Dash. An author once said, "True heroism is remarkably sober, very undramatic. It is not the urge to surpass all others at whatever cost, but it is the urge to serve others at whatever cost. It takes a special person to dedicate their life to people they will probably never meet. Every day, our armed forces sacrifice different aspects of their life so that they will continue to experience the simple pleasures of life. Today, I have the honor of recognizing one of our local heroes, Master Sergeant Clarence Walter Dash, served in the U.S. Army defending our country during the Korean and Vietnam War. He has earned a Civil Star and a Gold Wings, highlighting the exemplary service of the paratrooper. So I will go ahead and read his proclamation. Yes. I'd like to call you up, please. Mr. Sergeant Walter. Did I forget to say that he's a proud resident of District 3? Did I forget to say that? So, whereas Master Sergeant Clarence Walter Dash was born on April 5th, 1930 in Georgia. His family would later move to Florida, where he was drafted by the U.S. Army in 1948. And whereas Sergeant Dasher defended our country during the Korean and Vietnam War. As a Gold Wing recipient, Master Sergeant Dasher has participated in 65 jumps to include 25 jumps without combat equipment. Whereas Master Sergeant Mr. Dasher is a senior non-commissioned officer of the NCO who has served as a brigade NCO in charge. And so now, therefore, in consideration on foregoing, the Mayor Philip Bien-Aimé, Councilwoman Mary Estimée Irvin, and my colleagues, we would like to declare today as Master Sergeant Clarence Walter Dash Day.
I moved here in 1984.
Come here. You can.
1984, I came into where I live now and been there all the time and try to be a good citizen. And I lived up to it.
Take a picture. You can take a picture here.
Let me move this. Okay, as you will see once we vote on later, we as a council decided that we are going to pass a resolution for the month of, so we will be passing a resolution for epilepsy. So, but before we do that, we'll go ahead and do a proclamation. So, in honor of Epilepsy Awareness Month, my fellow council members and I would like to present a proclamation to the organization we hold near and dear to our hearts. The Robert Philippo Epilepsy Organization is a nonprofit organization named in honor of Robert Philippo, a young man who succumbed by illness of this epilepsy at the age of 18. This organization strive to provide a platform or forum to address epilepsy and devastating impact in the community. It is a true pleasure to present this proclamation. Is anyone here? Robert Philippo? And I'll go ahead and highlight that Robert is actually the brother of our very own employee, Katia Philippo. So I'm so happy to be able to present this proclamation to the family. So I won't read the proclamation. We're already in picture mode. That's fine. So we're just declaring today to be the Robert Philippo Epilepsy Day.
Thank you. I would like to just say a few words to the council members, mayor and council, for recognizing the organization. Today with us is the secretary of the organization, Stephanie Morenci, and also my mom, the mother of Robert Philippo, Danielle. Thank you, guys.
Perfect. Everybody on three. 1, 2, 3. And one more. 1, 2, 3. Thank you.
And now we're going to have a third presentation, a special presentation on target industry cross-section analysis by TIP Strategies Inc. And I want to call CPND Tanya Wilson Sejour. Oh, it's going to be a PowerPoint.
That's not enough for a day. It's called, you know, and if there's, we need to do another proclamation for national running for office. Scott's gonna do it.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Tanya Wilson with Community Planning and Development Department. Staff is here to provide an overview of an economic development initiative that's been spearheaded at the beginning of this year. Last year, actually, the city applied for and was awarded a federal grant from the U.S. Department of Economic Development Administration. This grant allowed the city to be able to do an analysis of both our commercial and our industrial districts. And it's a significant grant at this time. We're able to do an analysis to determine if North Miami has a niche in certain sectors within that market, to observe if there's opportunities for business expansion in both the commercial and industrial districts, to observe if there's actually a competitive advantage that the city has for certain businesses that we have within that location. We think it's significant because the city has upzoned and provided overlay districts in all our major commercial corridors and some of our industrial districts. We want to be strategic, we want to be specific in terms of the marketing, the types of uses that we permit in those districts. And we believe that with this grant and with the study that we're conducting, we can be more intentional in our approach towards both commercial and industrial activities within this area. To help us in this effort, the city's retained the marketing firm, economic and marketing firm called TIP Industries. And I have the consultant, John Karras, that's here tonight to give you a little bit more description as to how we'll conduct that study within the next series of months. So I'm going to invite John forward so he can provide an overview of the study that we're doing of our commercial and industrial districts.
Good evening, Mayor and council members. Thank you so much, Tanya, for the introduction. So just wanted to give you a quick overview of the project that we're working on, a little bit of background on our company, TIP Strategies, and how we think about economic development, and talk about the project and what we have been hired by the city's community development department to think about the types of industries and companies that you can attract into the city to bring in new jobs and new investment and new commercial and industrial development. That's really the overall goal of how you can bring in new investment into the city. So our firm, TIP Strategies, we are based in Austin, Texas. We have worked with cities and regions around the country on economic development strategies and target industry analyses over the past 25 years. I have been with the firm about 6 years, and just to give you a sense of some of the consulting projects that we've been working on recently, and just finished an economic development plan for the Tampa Bay Economic Development Corporation, a few other projects that I am currently leading for the city of Richmond, Virginia. Next week I'll be in the Mississippi Gulf Coast completing a project there, trying to leverage the BP oil spill funding that they're getting and how they can try to transform their region's economy over time with that funding source. But we're really excited to be here in the city of North Miami, and just got started. I'll give you a sense. This is half of our team. This is the professional side of the company. One person I did want to point out is Tracy McDaniel, our firm's president. She is actually the president of our industry association, the International Economic Development Council, and I believe North Miami just won an award this year at the conference on innovative financing. So Tanya and I met there briefly a few weeks ago. And then the other person is Jeff Marcel, who's based out of Seattle. He'll be joining me on the project as well, so you'll see him on one of our next upcoming trips. And I'm going to go through some of this quickly to get to the meat of what the project is about. But I did want to share with you our approach to economic development.
Give me a quick second. Can we ask
Yes.
IT, can you lower the mic, please? Because
Am I being too loud?
Yeah,
Oh, sorry.
yeah.
I'm really excited about the project. So
it's IT, yeah.
Is this better?
Yes.
Okay. So when people ask us, when communities ask us, how do you define economic development? What do successful cities have? And this is our answer. We say that successful cities really invest in talent, having the workforce to current, as well as being able to attract and retain skilled workers. You have to have innovation happening in your companies and in your city, and then you have to have quality places. So the communities that have those three ingredients, we believe that's really the sort of the secret sauce for successful economic development. And you have a lot of those already in North Miami, but there's a lot more potential to continue investing in these. So our process is really three phases. Discovery phase, which is learning as much as possible, and that includes what the data tells us, but it also includes what we learn from individual interviews with key stakeholders in your community, such as landowners, developers, companies, and it also includes what's going on in the broader economy. What are the trends? So the rise of remote workers, more and more people working remotely as one of those trends that we're paying a lot of attention to. So as an example, we toured the Sole Mia development earlier today, which is just a really incredible project, and asked, okay, so who are the people that are moving into this development? And the answer was international entrepreneurs from different countries, and a lot of them are in their 30s and 40s, and they're working remotely. Maybe their company's office is down in Brickell or downtown Miami, and they commute down there once a week. So we want to pay attention to those larger trends as well.
Bless you.
But to talk about the project specifically, so this is our scope of work. We responded to an RFP earlier this year and competed for the project, and were selected to really do a target industry analysis that is focused on developing and attracting investment, really citywide, but mostly focused on the commercial and industrial corridors and districts within the city. So just over the past couple of days, I've gotten to tour every one of the main districts in the city, not just Sole Mia, but definitely the downtown area here where we sit, the Northwest 7th Avenue corridor, the Dixie Highway corridor, Biscayne Boulevard as well. So those are really the areas that we're trying to focus on, what kind of new investment and new development can take place in those areas. So the goals of the project is, as Tanya mentioned, what makes North Miami competitive. In the CRA presentation earlier, the developer talked about the location, so that's an obvious asset that you have between the two major cities in the region and the airports and the ports. But really, what are the opportunities to attract new foreign direct investment, but also help your existing companies grow and stay here, and strengthening the city's overall economic resiliency. And then most important is the final part of it, which is that's great you can analyze your current economy, and that's great that you can come up with good ideas and opportunities, but implementation and how do you market and how do you attract those investors and help your existing companies grow and your existing properties retain and increase their value. So I won't go into the weeds on the details here, but this really matches up with our 3 phases. So the current economic situation, looking at opportunities for what kinds of industries can you attract into the area, and then most important is the implementation of that. So identifying specific properties and types of industries, and what can the city do to encourage that kind of development along with your partners. So tomorrow morning we're meeting with a group that we're calling our steering committee, which includes Community Development Department, the CRA, North Miami Chamber, DAPAC, the Beacon Council as well, and then your 2 major higher education institutions, FIU and Johnson & Wales. So they're going to be our working group that we'll work with throughout the process. And what our scope of work fits into the 3-phase process. We're just getting started in the discovery phase. We've got a lot of work to do over the next several months, and our timeline is targeting to be completing this work in March. We will be back in the community again for additional interviews and meetings probably in January for the opportunity phase, and then wanting to keep you involved and get your input on the process as we continue, and then wrapping this up in March. And I won't go into a bunch of data, but just wanted to give you a sense of some of the data that we're starting to look at. So as one example, we like to look at all the previous planning work that has been done. So you've got a lot of investment, both not just money, but in civic energy that you've put into these previous planning efforts and studies and different documents. So we're reviewing all of those. So this is just some of them. We're learning about additional things that have been done, the ULI report that was done, and some other planning efforts, and understanding the recommendations and findings that have come out of that to help inform our process. And then we're also collecting some of our own data. So this is an example of that. There's a lot more that our research team is compiling, but we want to really understand the competitive situation of North Miami within this larger region. So looking at things like commuting patterns. So you've got some people that commute into the city from outside for jobs. You've got a much larger amount of people commuting that live here that are commuting out to Miami, Miami Beach, surrounding cities. So just understanding those dynamics is really important to what kind of companies can you attract, and what kind of development opportunities do you have. So this is just a snapshot of that, and I can stop here. There's a couple. Oh yeah, so this one right here. So this shows the net inbound and outbound commuting of private sector jobs by city and the trends. So this data comes straight from the U.S. Census Bureau, where they match location of residence versus location of employment. So it's an interesting way to see that you've got people coming in from some of the surrounding areas, Golden Glades, but you have a lot of residents that commute down to Miami or down to Miami Beach. And you can look at this by industry as well and by wage levels. So you can kind of slice the data to get a better understanding of your labor shed, so that the jobs that are here and where those workers are coming from, but also the flip side of that, what we call the commute shed, the residents that you have that are employed and where are they commuting to.
But we don't have that. Where is that slide? Do we have it, that data? I know you guys show it one time.
We did, yeah, that was part of our housing, when we did the
Okay.
housing study,
Okay.
yeah.
Never mind.
So we just wanted to give you a teaser on a lot of the data that we'll be looking at. So these are some of the things that we're going to really evaluate over the next several weeks and months. I could stop there if there's any questions. The only other slides were examples of other communities where we've worked, in case you had questions about that.
Thank you very much. Do you have any questions on the dash? Councilwoman Estimé? No questions. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you so much. Look
Thank
forward to
I
seeing
have
you
a quick
again.
question for staff.
Yes.
Not you, sir. So they already been retained by.
Yes, so the firm has already been retained through the procurement process. So this was just to give you an overview once we embark on the study of what we'll be looking at, and then they'll check in again towards the end to reveal the findings. We know that we're competing with other cities around us to be able to attract that foreign direct investment, to be able to attract certain vendors and certain retailers. And we want to be armed and ready and be sure as to what assets we have as a city, so we can be direct with our marketing and be aggressive with our approach in economic development.
Thank you very much. And thank you. The second presentation is about
I'm back.
yes.
So we talked a little bit about economic resiliency. We're shifting gears a little to talk more about environmental resiliency. In the mayor's inauguration speech, one of the things that Mayor Bieneme did say, and we recall, is that sustainability is one of his top 3 priorities, along with economic development, along with housing. We recognize that we are a coastal city. We recognize that we have over 300 acres of open space and parklands, countless acres of wetlands. We're a very fragile community. And with that, we know that sustainability is a top priority for North Miami. So with me tonight is our Sustainability Administrator, Amanda Murray. She's prepared a presentation for the council. As we face the threat of sea level rise and face the threat of flooding, of shocks and stresses that will face our city, we want to be able to give an overview of the city's strategy of how we intend to address sustainability and resilience. So you'll hear from her tonight what the next steps forward will be and what North Miami's plan is to become a more resilient city. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. My name is Amanda Murray, and I am the Sustainability Administrator for the Community Planning and Development Division. And today I will be giving an overview of our sustainability initiative that we are calling Resilient NOMI. While discussing this topic, many times sustainability and resiliency are used interchangeably. However, there are very distinct differences. Sustainability can best be described as planning today to ensure that we have a healthy and prosperous city for future generations. Whereas resiliency can be best described as preparing ourselves as a city to bounce back from shocks and stresses. Shocks are the unexpected catastrophes such as hurricanes, shootings, recessions. Stresses are the daily struggles that we must combat, such as poverty, unemployment, crime, and climate change. The city of North Miami is unique in the sense that there's many factors that put us at risk. Not only are we a coastal city, but we also have mangroves within our boundaries. Among that, we have bird sanctuaries, pollinators, marine life, an array of native plants. Due to this, it's essential that we as a city create a plan to preserve our fragile ecosystem. Sustainability and resiliency have been a priority for the City of North Miami for over a decade. In 2007, the City of North Miami was actually the first in the state to add a climate change element to our comprehensive plan. And since then, we have stayed at the forefront of policymaking. Currently, today, our land development regulations set in place require all new development, all new commercial development to be LEED certified. Due to this requirement, we currently have a development for a SunTrust under review. If approved, they will end up being the first SunTrust that's LEED certified in the nation here in North Miami. There's also a list of green building standards that we require for any building that is seeking bonuses. Moving forward, we would like Resilient NOMI initiative to act as a blueprint for current and future projects. The blueprint itself has been broken up into the 3 Ps: policies, programs, and projects. The policies will be the overreaching legislation that guides the goals and objectives. The program development will encompass the annual fairs, cleanups, recycling programs, newsletters. And finally, the capital projects will focus more on the infrastructure improvements. The blueprint is designed to be a working document, therefore it will change over time. Everything we've done and continue to do involving sustainability has been made possible through the forward thinking of the council. Through the vision for the future, all of our sustainability policies have been able to move forward, and new sustainability initiatives have been able to be formed. Just tonight, actually, we have an item being considered on the agenda for a company called EcoBins. It's a recycling program that will be partnering with the city that was first discovered through the annual Green Awareness Fair. And moving forward, due to the support and funding of Vice Mayor Keys, we will be head starting an educational campaign that will ultimately result in a citizen's guide to resiliency. We believe together as a community, we can, if we work together, reshape North Miami to become the poster child of sustainability and be the city that the rest of the region looks towards for guidance in this area. So with that, if you have any more questions or would like any information, please feel free to reach out and contact me. My information's on the screen. I've also added the link to, we have a section, a sustainability section of the City of North Miami's website where the Resilient NOMI blueprint will be uploaded, and it will be updated with future information and opportunities to get involved. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And at the same time, Councilman Galvin, you had a workshop about resiliency. Can you give us an overview? Or
sure. And I want to start by singing Amanda's praises, because she came expecting to listen to what the community had to say, and of course, being typical North Miami, she was immediately thrown on the hot seat and peppered with questions, and she had every answer that could have been, asked of her. So. Kudos for not only being there, but for putting up with that surprise element. We probably had about 50 folks in attendance at the workshop. They had lots of questions. I'm going to put out another email sort of summarizing what happened. But for many people, we'd like to think that everybody knows what sea level rise and resiliency is at this point. For several people in the room that night, this was new to them. So we had to break it down to the basics and say, this is what resiliency means. There was a lot of information, a lot of ideas that came out, and I'm just thankful for all the residents who were there, and thankful to CP&D and Amanda for having a strong presence.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. A quick question: as part of your research, are you gonna seek what grants are available out there for us to apply when it comes to sea level rise and climate change?
So we're continually looking. We actually are currently, we have 2 grants that we're working on. The Neat Streets 2020 Street Tree Grant, where we're applying to plant 140 new trees within the city. We've applied for that grant annually. And we also are currently working on, we have been granted a community resident grant. We're working on a community garden.
Thank you. Do you have any?
I do.
Yes.
I want to thank Tanya and Amanda for the work you've been doing. Amanda, you're new, but you've done just a fabulous program. And Tanya, you've helped keep our resiliency going. I'm looking forward. We've been doing a regular, ongoing e-waste drives where people bring their e-waste and recycle. We had a fabulous Green Awareness Fair last spring. We're co-hosted by Stony Brook Yogurt, so we're going to have another one of those this year. And for grants, I'm using some of my discretionary fund to hire Razaga for a citizen's guide to the resilient NOMI, and VACA, who's going to use their drones and everything, and they're going to be putting out a video of our sustainability and resiliency. So looking forward to it. You're speaking my language. I'm hoping will be at my workshop next Tuesday to follow up and give some more information on that.
I will be.
Okay, so you want to talk about sea level rise. I rode down 124th Street this morning to go to someone's house. Sunny, beautiful, bright day, no rain, and the end of that street had about 3 houses long of puddles that the trucks could not drive through, and then further down another set of puddles. And this is on a regular basis, so sea level is unbelievable. We're working on trying to find something we can do for that street and the rest of the city. So this is real, it's here, and this is a sunny day, and we've got floods in our streets. So thank you.
Thank you very much, Councilwoman Estime. Alex, Scott. Thank you very much, Amanda.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Before we move forward, let's recognize Councilwoman Paul Villar from the city. Commissioner Paul Villar from the beautiful city of North Miami Beach. Please stand, you can be recognized. And also happy Veterans Day, because I know you wear uniforms in order to protect us. You've been in the police department for over 20 years, not North Miami, but the city of Miami. Do you want to say something?
Yes.
Yes, go ahead.
Thank you. Thank you very much for acknowledging me here today. However, I am here not as a commissioner today, which I'm always a commissioner, but the reason that I'm here is to make a special presentation. I know nobody knows about what I was going to do, but I think it's really like a civic duty to do what I'm about to do. I want to thank the mayor, first of all. The mayor, can you come? I'm sorry.
Thank
you. You didn't know. Oh yeah, I got the right one too. Mayor, I just want to thank you for your leadership, commitment to the welfare of the constituent of North Miami. I can tell you, I'm an old constituent of North Miami. I was living here for a long time, and my sister lived here for over 40 years. And we really appreciate the way that you serve the constituent. And I know you helped me with my teen pageant that I did last year. And I want to take that minute to say thank you, how appreciative we are. The mayor is looking at me like, oh my God, I didn't know anything about it. Yeah, but I just want to show you, this is a small token of appreciation. You know, when you do things, you never know when it comes back to you. But I feel like I should come today and say thank you for what you do, and we appreciate you, the St. Joel family. We've been living, not anymore, I'm not Miami Beach now, but my family still lives here.
Surprise!
We really appreciate you, Mayor. Thank you for your leadership, and you know, you stand up for your people, and we really love you and appreciate you. It's like all of you, I don't just want, today I'm making a special presentation, but I want to recognize all of the commissioners, councilmen and councilwomen, and city attorney, city clerk. I just want to say good evening to you all, city manager and assistant city manager. So I just want to recognize all, deputy, I'm sorry. Deputy, I'm sorry. So I just want to say thank you very much. Oh, yeah, the chief. Yeah, the chief too. Thank you so much. Okay, thank you. You can say so we can take a picture maybe. I'm sorry. Okay. The other one is well, since you said the chief, I guess I'm gonna call the chief of police, Larry Durega.
You're your cousin?
Chief, I just want to even also say thank you to you in recognition of for going above and beyond to show support to my family in the time of need. Your remarkable leadership is truly appreciated, and I just wanted to show you a small token of appreciation by giving you this plaque today, and I say thank you from the St. Joel family. Okay. I'm sorry. Okay. The other one is for, oh my God, I put commissioner, but I'll make sure. It says commissioner, but councilman, which we have to, Dr. Alex Desorme, and I want to call you up here as well to say thank you. To Alex, say what's going on? Yeah, I called you so many times when I'm doing all my events, and you're always there for me. I'm sure if I had called, Councilman Scott Garvin, he would have been there too, and all of the other councilmen and councilwomen. But since I called you and you're always there for me, so I just wanted to show you that we appreciate, public servant, police officers, we are public servants, but we never off duty. We're always working. I know at night I call you on behalf of my family, you respond. So I just want to show you. I was going to remove them, but that's good. Thank you so much. Yes, I know. My sister was living at the same house for over 40 years. Maybe you weren't even born when she started living there. So, so I really want to say thank you, and I appreciate you, and I appreciate all of you, really. And thank you very much, Dr. Alex Desorme. Thank you. Yeah, I will definitely. Yeah, I know.
Thank you very much to Commissioner Paul Villar. And her sister been living in the city of North Miami in District 4 for over 46 years. And now, Madam Clerk, I think we have tab J for discussion before we move forward.
Tab
Now
J,
let's-
proposed resolution of the mayor and city council of the city of North Miami, Florida, authorizing the city manager and city attorney to negotiate and execute a professional services agreement between the city of North Miami and Black and Veatch Corporation for the provision of an updated water and sewer rate study in an amount not to exceed $73,580 pursuant to request for qualifications number 08-17-18, continuing professional architectural and engineering services, providing for an effective date and for all other purposes. Tab J.
Thank you very much. We don't have presentation. We have discussion because it was part of the consent agenda, and we put it for questions. Councilman Desulme.
Yes,
Unless
well,
you
I
want-
just wanted the manager just to go over the item. I felt that it's something that we should vote, we should at least hear it out.
Oh, okay.
All right. Good evening, everyone. Mr. Mayor, council members, Alberto Estrada, Purchasing Director. The item that you have before you under tab J is staff's recommendation for your approval of a consulting services agreement with the firm Black and Veatch Corporation to provide the city with an updated water and sewer rate study for a fee of $73,580. As reflected in the council report that was submitted in support of the item, Black and Veatch is one of the consulting firms that's included under the current pool of pre-qualified firms commissioned by the city in February 12th of this year. Given the fact that the firm was previously commissioned on April 2012 to perform a comprehensive water and sewer rate study for the city, staff has now negotiated with Black and Veatch to provide an update of that study, which shall include financial forecasts covering fiscal year 2020 through fiscal year 2025. It will include cost of service analysis, development of water service rate analysis, and a preparation of final report that summarizes the findings and recommendations of the study. The final report shall be submitted to this city council for your review and approval. With me here tonight in support of this item is the city's finance director, Mr. Miguel Augustin, as well as Mr. Robert Chambers, who's representing the firm Black and Veatch. And if you have any questions, we'll be glad to take them.
Councilman Desulme, that's you.
Yeah, no, that's basically it. So this rate study would be for the upcoming fiscal year, or?
It's actually, like in previous time,
Forecast.
it's a 5-year
Forecast.
prospective forecast.
Okay.
Thank you very much. We're not going to open it to the public since it was part of the consent agenda. Now we put it back on the consent agenda. Can I hear a motion on the consent agenda, please?
So moved. Second.
Thank you very much. Madam Clerk?
I have a motion made by Councilman Desulme to approve the consent agenda. Tabs A through M. The motion was seconded by Vice Mayor Keys. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion made and approved with a 5-0 vote.
Thank you very much.
Tab N, proposed resolution of the mayor and city council of the city of North Miami, Florida, approving the city administration's competitive selection of National Concrete and Paving LLC as the lowest responsible contractor to furnish materials, equipment, tools, machinery, supervision, expertise, and services required for the installation of a traffic circle at Northeast 10th Avenue and Northeast 131st Street. Further authorizing the city manager and city attorney to negotiate and execute an agreement for the installation of a traffic circle at the selected location in the amount not to exceed $260,138 in accordance with the terms, conditions, and specifications contained in invitation for bid number 72-18-19, providing for an effective date and for all other purposes. Tab N.
Mr. Mayor, before they get started, this is the item that was tabled from the last meeting. As you know, we received a full presentation, and I think the last remaining item you wanted to see a visual of the rendering of the plan, so we asked that staff bring the engineers to do that presentation.
Thank you.
evening, Mayor and council members. My name is George Balaban with Kimley Horn Associates. So before you have the traffic circle Northeast 10th Avenue and Northeast 131st Street. So I'll make it brief because I've heard I should be quick. The first picture you have in front of you is actually the intersection of Northeast 12th Avenue and 131st Street. This is the overall project location. Oh, you can't see it? Okay, sorry about that. This is the overall location, as you may be aware. 10th Avenue is a county road. This is another location, Northeast 139th Street and Northeast 7th Avenue. Northeast 141st Street, Northeast 11th Avenue. So the whole point of all those pictures basically to tell you that all these circles all have the same materials, Florida-friendly, drought-tolerant trees and shrubs. And when they're planted, the Sylvester palms are 4 feet clear trunk, 12 feet high. When they're mature, it's about 30 feet high. And that's all I have.
That's it? How much is it?
Any questions?
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Let's open it to the public. Public hearing is now open.
Richard Anise, 13030 Northeast 10th Avenue, corner of 131st and Northeast 10th. I wish you'd just this evening stay on point and stay focused as what's at hand. You have in front of you, the only reason you have it in front of you is because the manager can't sign off on something this high, so he would have signed it and it would have been done a long time ago. It's been approved by the county. It's going to be done for safety. The design is done. The money is there. The county, it met the county's asking for extra requirements. That's why it's costing a little bit more. I know you're concerned a little bit about the aesthetics. I don't care about the aesthetics. It's there for safety. I'm tired of seeing people taking right turns and not stopping, slowing down if they go through, and sometimes even not stopping, taking left turns going east on 131st Street. You wasted over $1 million on 133rd Street. The only good thing that came out of there was you got a stop sign, which wasn't there before. We need more stop signs on 10th Avenue south of 131st to 125th Street. People still fly through this area, regardless of that one other stop sign. It's not stopping anybody. I'm just surprised there hasn't been more accidents on that corner in a long time. Obviously, this was approved because there was studies done. It's been 5 years since I asked for this thing. It's taken that long to get this far. So, I know you're concerned about natural trees and whatever, but the county's got certain requirements, and the design's got to fit whatever they're asking for. I don't know why it took more drainage than it took on 124th Street, or maybe it didn't. I didn't see anything stopping that one. I know you weren't happy, Carol, with the design of that one or the finished product, but tweak the design a little bit for aesthetics. I don't care. Please, get it done. It needs to be done. For safety purposes, it needs to be done. Thank you.
Jessica Alston, 1140 Northwest 125 Street in Sungus Grove. I think that was just a pathetic representation of what the circle was going to look like. Totally unprofessional. It was awful. I care about it, the aesthetics, how things look. That was pitiful. It just does not reflect 260,260. Am I reading this right? Help me all out. Help me out. Because I can't believe it. I can't believe my eyes. It does not reflect 200. 200. My glasses.
160.
$260,138 did not reflect that. And it's unacceptable. Aesthetically, I'm saying. Unprofessional.
Public hearing still open on the item. Public hearing is now closed. Members of the dais. Carol, that's
You know, I'm, like I
that's
said,
Scott
I'm just,
DC?
what?
That's your DC? That's Carol. Carol.
That's my district. Yeah, you know, we need the traffic circle, so we're gonna go with it. I am not happy with all the concrete. I would like to see it more permeable, and I'm not happy with a palm tree. I'd like to see a shade tree there. That, I mean, this is what we've been doing, and I'd still like to discuss it, but I'm ready to vote on the item. We can always change the tree out, maybe make it a little more permeable, because the one at 123rd is awful. I'm sorry. And also, someone just took out all the electrical outlets and sockets. I just drove by that this weekend. So they didn't get the tree, but I just see that someone just plowing through that tree.
Where? Where?
On 123rd and 10th Avenue, or North one, someone crashed in and took out all the electrical.
Oh, the one by Villa Maria. Okay. Are you done
I didn't
with
see a
question?
picture.
Okay. Are you done?
Thank you.
Councilwoman Sime?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Councilman
Second.
Desiree? No question? Okay. Madam Clerk.
I have a motion made by Vice Mayor Keys to approve the item at tab N. The motion was seconded by Councilman Galvin. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion made and approved with a 5-0 vote. Tab P, proposed ordinance
Okay, just a quick question, excuse me, and Mr. Manager,
Thank you.
if I'm understand to be clear on tab O,
Yeah, we
you're
removed
not
the
quite
item.
ready to
bring it
make
right
any recommendation
That is
to
correct.
mayor and council, you're pulling it.
That's correct.
Thank you. Yes, Madam Clerk.
Tab P, proposed ordinance first reading of the mayor and city council of the city of North Miami, Florida, providing for text amendments to chapter 29 of the city of North Miami Code of Ordinances entitled Land Development Regulations by amending Article 7 definitions, specifically building height, providing for a repeal, conflicts, severability, correction of Scrivener's errors, and for an effective date. Tab P.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. For the record, Tanya Wilson with Community Planning and Development Department. Item number P is a text amendment to Article 7 of the city's land development regulations. We had several discussions with the community. I know we also met with Councilman Gavin to discuss providing clarity to the definition of building height in the code. So as you'll see in the ordinance, the recommended language will add verbiage, and I'll read it verbatim actually. We're adding language that the definition include a measurement of the minimum base flood elevation plus 1 foot of any structure to the mid-eave of the roof. For flat roofs, that should be measured from the minimum base flood elevation plus 1 foot to the top of the roof. We're adding that clarity so it's clear within the R1 and R2 districts how a building height should be measured. Also within the code, there's allowances for certain structures to project above the maximum height. We've excluded many of the other things previously, like fire towers, elevator shafts, and other things that were included, mechanical appurtenances, and we've limited that to just solar arrays and steeples within the R1 and R2 district. You'll see additional language that allows in every other district in the commercial and industrial districts that there's more allowances for cooling towers and fire towers and other appurtenances that will allow to project above the maximum height. We think this is important in terms of the visibility of our residential areas, making sure that these areas don't look industrial or commercial in nature, and that there's uniformity within the appearance of our residential districts. If anyone on the council has questions in terms of this direct text amendment, staff is available to answer at this time. Also want to add that from the Planning Commission level, the Planning Commission had asked that the language for elevator equipment be removed from that definition, and it's only limited to solar arrays and steeples projecting above that maximum height by 20%. This concludes staff's presentation.
Thank you very much. Do you want to come up with any clarification? It's your item, huh?
You got Albert's clarification?
You
That's
okay?
the last little bit you got there? Okay, just making sure.
Okay. A quick question, that rooftop, for example, going to be including the height, right?
So yes, so like
Okay,
for
that's
your
when-
R1 and R2, it's maximum 35 feet,
Mhm.
but those appurtenances are allowed at 20% projection above. So we've slimmed that down to just solar arrays and steeples at this point. So you have a cleaner appearance in terms of the maximum heights and the things that you see projecting above the roof line.
Okay, okay. Thank you. Let's open it to the public.
William Previtel, 11950 North Bay Shore Drive, generally in supportive of these measures, but I did happen to watch the Planning Commission meeting at the time, and I think there was an error that kept on getting exchanged amongst some of the members, and that is that elevators having this mechanical equipment at the roof. And, oh, elevators these days don't have mechanical equipment at the roof. Well, they don't, but they still have the overrun, which is required. It's a requirement to have this extra space above the last stop. It's not filled with a lot of mechanical equipment, not the sheaves or anything else that it once might have had, or motors these days, but that is required. So if the elevator went up, someone standing there would not get compressed against the ceiling and get killed. It allows them to also work on top of that. So I do ask that that, again, be amended so that we're not eliminating the elevators, but that is allowed. People are only going to build it what is required. They're not going to go build some giant tower above that, but to the required distance, I ask that that change be made. I further ask that if we're talking about the base flood elevation, are we changing that to today's climate change and to sea rise? Is this the same base flood elevation from some years ago, or are we going to proactively change that ourselves and start to up that by some measure so that we're more prepared? I hope we can do that and add some measure of flexibility and accountability to the code. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Public hearing is still open on the item.
Good evening, Bob Pashon, 13005 Coronado Terrace. I asked the mayor and council to approve this. We've had a lot of public discussion on it, and it really does a couple of things. It clarifies some language in the ordinance, which had heretofore was vague enough that it was used to be able to actually increase the height of buildings. That was never the intention of the language. It was an interpretation that was made, so this actually puts a limit on that so that we don't have those problems in the future. And secondly, we changed the initial starting point to the base floodplain elevation. And the city needs to do that. I don't necessarily agree with the last speaker about let's go up to some new height, but I do think we need to take the government's base flood elevation into consideration, because if you watched the newspaper just a few days ago, in the next 2 years, if we don't do something for floodplain management, the residents in this city are going to get crushed with increases in flood insurance. So this is a great starting point, so that when people are going to build a home and measure the height, instead of using the street level that we've been using or some arbitrary number in the past, we start with floodplain elevation as a consideration. That's important, and I ask you to approve the method. Thank you.
Thank you.
How you doing? Albert Mendez, 2141 Hibiscus Circle. I agree with Bob. I ask you to approve it. We all went to the meetings and we had the workshops. We're talking residential here. So when you talk about residential, and solely just from experience, because we've done several dozen of them, residential elevators don't require any room. They don't require machine rooms. We're not dealing with the commercial hydraulic system. They don't require extra space. This is residential. We're in the R1, R2. If we're talking somewhere else, I would say we need to look at it a different way. But so just so we know what we're talking about, I think we should agree with it and I do recommend that, you know, or approve or sort of go with staff's recommendation to get this done the way it is, so we have a basis and a clarity.
Thank you very much. Public hearing still open on. Public hearing is now closed. And let's.
I'd just move approval.
A quick clarification, Tanya. When we're talking about the floodplain elevation, we will not be a part of the height.
So the definition will include
For new construction,
base flood
for
elevation
example.
plus 1 foot. So that was in consideration of sea level rise and making sure that we're consistent with the standard recommendation for measuring.
It's going to be 1
height.
foot?
Correct.
Okay.
It's base flood plus 1 foot.
Thank you very much. No questions? Madam Clerk?
Was it second?
No.
A second.
I'll second.
Oh.
Did you-
I have a motion made by Councilman Galvin to approve the item at tab P. The motion was seconded by Councilman Desome. Councilman Galvin, how do you vote?
Yes.
Councilman Desome, how do you vote?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Keys, how do you vote?
Yes.
Mayor Bieneme, how do you vote?
Yes.
Councilwoman Estime Irvin, how do you vote?
Yes.
Motion made and approved by a 5-0 vote. Tab Q, proposed resolution of the mayor and city council of the city of North Miami, Florida, approving the site plan for a proposed storage facility on the 1.45 acre real property generally located at Northeast 135th Street and Memorial Highway, and specifically identified with Miami-Dade County folio number 06-2230-000-0111. In accordance with Article 2, Division 7, Section 2-701, and Article 3, Division 2, Section 3-204 through Section 3-206, and Article 3, Division 3, Section 3-302 of the City of North Miami Code of Ordinances, Chapter 29, entitled Land Development Regulations, providing for an effective date and for all other purposes. This is a quasi-judicial item at tab Q.
Presentation by staff.
I'm going to
Anyone?
It's question.
You don't have the cards?
I'm going to swear everyone in. The card should be in the back.
Okay.
Now, no cards?
Go ahead, Madam Clerk.
Now, if you're going to give a testimony today on this case, please rise and raise your right hand as I issued the oath. All right.
Thank you very much. Go ahead with your presentation.
Thank you. For the record again, Tanya Wilson with Community Planning and Development. This resolution is a request for site plan approval for a 4-story, 124,368 square feet self-storage facility. Just to acclimate you, the location of the project, it's located on the southeast quadrant of Northeast 135th Street and Memorial Highway. The project itself is a total size of 1.45 acres. That's over 63,079 square feet in size. The property you may recognize is a part of that newly annexed area that was annexed into the city back in 2014. It's commercially zoned as C1 with a commercial land use. Just to give you a bit of detail on the project design itself, the building, as I mentioned, is proposed as a 4-story structure. It's proposed as a LEED certified facility, and there's ground level activation on the street frontage because it is on a major corridor. It's located in District 3. I know the councilwoman herself, we've had briefings and discussions on the project itself. It's District 3 on 135th Street. In terms of the amount of daily trips on that corridor, it's estimated at 206 cars, daily trips that you see along that Northeast 135th Street corridor. Site plan approval would be good for 18 months, so the applicant will have within 18 months in order to construct the structure. Looking at the economic impact, it's anticipated to generate up to 45 full-time jobs during construction, 6 full-time employees after construction. It's anticipated it will have an ad valorem tax impact of $70,668 dollars annually. Sales taxes generated $149,999. In terms of impact fees, we're looking at between $198,000 and $215,000 in impact fees. And that concludes staff's presentation. I know the applicant is here in the audience if the council has any specific questions at this time.
Let's open it to the public. Nobody? Oh, nobody's swearing?
Yeah.
Thank
I just have a question for the applicant, if I might.
Yes, go ahead.
Hi. Good evening. My name is Francisco Santana. I'm the project manager here on behalf of Kenneth Carson Architect, and we're here representing the client, which I believe couldn't attend the meeting, but.
Okay,
any
here's the
questions
question
on
that maybe you can't answer then, Mr. Santana. Why did you choose this location?
Well, we actually didn't choose the location. It was chosen by the developer.
And the developer's not here this evening to
He's
talk
not,
about it?
he's not here this evening, but it's my understanding that his partner is a businessman in the city, and I think it's part of why they chose this particular location.
All right, I'll reserve that question for perhaps another meeting where this is discussed, and I can ask the developer that directly.
Okay.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Councilwoman.
Thank you.
Councilwoman Estimé, District 3. You don't have any question?
Can we table this since the developer's not here, and so we can ask?
No, we don't have to table it. If they're not here, they're not interested in answering your questions. You make decisions.
It's crazy. No questions.
Councilman District 4, close to District 3.
No, no questions.
You know, you got to be on the
No,
mic.
no questions. They heard me.
I have a
Yes.
silly question for our planning director. On this study, why do we worry about bike racks? Other than somebody working there, you have a self-storage, people aren't gonna carry storage items on their bikes. I mean, it's just like,
So, in terms of the city's desire to
know.
be pedestrian oriented, it's still one of the features that's encouraged when you have lead points that you have to acquire. They're looking to be LEED certified. Bike racks is one of the criteria needed in order to acquire those
how many
points.
bike racks are you requiring? I mean,
To bend the mattress.
it's a silly question, but I'm looking, and I mean, bike racks, again, unless you're working there, you.
So the employees is a possibility, visitors, but the structure is there if someone does cycle to the site. If it's an employee, then the structure is there
Okay.
and can be utilized.
I just think that's kind of a silly bonus for having bike racks in a storage.
It's
Thank
there
you.
for
No
use
further
if needed.
questions.
Thank you very much,
Actually,
Madam.
I do have a question.
Yes.
I'd like to ask a question, please, yes?
To Tanya or
No,
to the.
whoever's representing. When will you start, and when will you complete this project?
I think we're supposed to start, obviously as soon as we get the building permit, but the project is estimated to be built before the expiration date of the site plan approval, which is given, I think it's 18 months. So I think that we'll start construction ASAP as soon as we get the approval.
I don't understand what that means. When you said ASAP,
Okay,
what's the estimated time for your permit?
Estimated construction time is about between 12 to 14 months after obtaining the building permit.
Okay, and Mrs. Wilson, and they have 18 months to obtain that permit, correct?
Yes.
Or else? It expires. Okay. Okay.
Are you
That's all
done?
my question. That's all my question.
Thank you very much, Madam Clerk.
I would need a motion to take a vote.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion made by Councilman Galvin to approve the item at tab Q, The motion was
The
seconded.
motion is to approve it?
No, yeah.
Yes, yes.
Oh.
Motion to approve.
Okay.
The motion was seconded by Vice Mayor Keys. Councilwoman Estimate Irvin, how do you vote?
No.
Councilman Desilme, how do you vote?
No.
Councilman Galvin, how do you vote?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Keys, how do you vote?
Yes.
Mayor Biename, how do you vote?
No.
Motion made, and the item fails with a 3-2 vote.
Thank you very much, Citizen Forum. Now, thank you very much.
And here they come.
Jessica Austin, 1140 Northwest 125 Street in Sunkist Grove. The city appears to be concerned about the future concerning resiliency and water, sea level, et cetera, about investments by foreign people, foreign entities, and about the people who do construction. But where's the interest, I ask you, in our citizenry, especially our youth? There needs to be an establishment of some kind of program, training program, where all of these people who are making all of these plans and benefiting from these plans, supposedly for the city, are made to make an investment in a program where there's a youth training program where the youth can be trained. However, during the summer, if it could be a jobs program, we need to have something here for the youth. They are the future. And they are not in these plans. They're not. Please make a component part of an investment for our youth in training, whether it be education, skills, whatever, technology. And when I say youth, I'm talking about those who are able to work. I don't know what the age is here. Is it 18 the minimum? 16 through whatever, 24. And that they be a component part. And make an investment in our youth in North Miami. Let's do that. Thank you.
Good evening, Mayor and council members. My name is Juancito Frencius. I'm on 12501 Northeast 5th Avenue, Suite C, North Miami, Florida, 33161. My interest in tonight is for 135th Street. I have a big concern regarding the third quote corridor between 135th Street. I think this highway is too vague. I would suggest that if you could bring some light to stop the traffic, because in the next few months you may have a lot of accident, even though I'm not a traffic expert. But by watching how cars and even cars come across the third corridor, you could feel that something major could come up. As a resident in North Miami, and I would suggest that you guys take the opportunity of this lane that you reject the project for self-storage to build some houses, because I heard in your project, Mr. Mayor, you had a plan to build home for senior citizens in North Miami and for all the residents in North Miami. I believe we could take the opportunity to have a big project on this parcel of land. Thank you.
Good evening, Judy Brown, 1100 Northwest 128 Terrace, Sunkist Grove. I'm coming because I'm concerned about the lack of staff in maintaining parks. We've lost crews that maintain the grass, cutting of the grass down. We all live in South Florida, and the grass grows really, really fast. I have taken pictures, and I've forwarded them to my council person, so I'm here today to talk about this. And I've also talked with the head of parks, the Parks Department. I'm asking that if you can find funding somewhere, I know we're tight, but we really need to maintain, Pepper Park is our signature land, that's our signature landmark over in Sunkist Grove. The park is the center of our community. And right now, it is, they, like during the summer, they couldn't cut the grass for every 2 months. It got really tall. And so I'm just coming to ask that if you have any funding that you can squeeze or find, that you can sort of like hire additional crew or get these people back that can maintain the aesthetic and keep the grass cut, not only at Pepper, but all around the city with our parks. Because, you know, it starts at the park. That's where it all starts. Thank you.
Bob Bichon, 13005 Coronado Terrace. 3 items. One, I want to commend the city on the Veterans Day celebration that they did. It was a wonderful tribute to our veterans, and it was a nice event by the city. Secondly, an item I have no particular interest in. I'm not sure I understand our zoning anymore. We had a site plan review a little while ago, and for a permitted use, and we voted it down. So if I'd spent my money to buy some land to do something, I think I'd be in a bit of a jam understanding what I should do next. And maybe this is almost a question, but when the consent agenda by definition is items that don't require review or discussion, and if you take something off the consent agenda and discuss it, I would think that should then be opened up to the public for public comment. The item that was taken off the consent agenda, I have no interest in. I don't know anything about it. But I just think if you're going to discuss it among yourselves, I think it's part of the Citizens' Bill of Rights to be able to discuss items you're going to vote on. Thank you.
William Prevotel, 11950 North Bay Shore Drive. First, I'd like to thank the members who seem to have made an effort to try to stop the blight of this storage that we seem to have. I know it's something that's very important these days to so many people, but we just do have an abundance of such structures and such facilities, and I don't think it's necessarily from the people in our community. I think it's from the other communities that would not possibly allow that, and therefore they're using us, and it's nice to put a little bit of resistance on that. As we start to get better development and welcome better projects and such throughout our city, certainly that could then again be part of the agenda. I did attend Scott's resiliency and climate change session, and good to see so many people are turned out, and happy that that was presented, and that so many people are taking an interest. My takeaway from it is, not just from North Miami, but I think our entire society is not really taking it as realizing the urgency. And we have a lot of small gestures, and they're all fine, but I don't think they'll add up. And I think when you look at the phrase sort of, you don't want to miss the boat, it's almost like that. We're going down the path, and we can't really go too slow, and we can't really stop for breakfast, lunch, and dinner and stuff, because if the boat misses, we may be in a rather disastrous situation. People across the planet are finding this out. When you look at the fires in California and elsewhere around the globe, I think if they had a little bit of foresight or the ability to do it, they would have hardened their structures for greater fire resistance, for clearing the brush and such. I think our community needs to somehow, without spending a great deal of money, do some studies on exactly where the first level of sea rise will be, the lowest areas. Outline that, mark it, and address that. Find all the areas that are flooding. Let's try to resolve that and fix it. Raise the roads, raise the drains, whatever it is in those areas. But I think we need to step this stuff in over the next so many decades before we're completely underwater. I hope we can do that. And as well as maybe some crazy things, but finding out really what is the price of bringing in fill to do the roads and such, to start to prepare this, because it's not something that will happen all of a sudden. One day happens 20 years from now, we need to completely lift the entire city. It's something that needs to be layered in if we're to have any chance of surviving this. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Richard Anise, 13030 Northeast 10th Avenue. Once again, I'm perplexed. The last meeting I was here, manager talked about and showed a great plan about being a little bit more I don't know, permissive or speeding up things when projects want to come into our city. And as Bob said, you had a site plan procedure here. This wasn't a first request. There was no special exemptions. It's a C1 district. If you want to limit how many storage facilities you have in the city, then do that first. Take it out of the zoning. This is a legal zoning for us. Once again, this property adjacent to this, you guys didn't want to you turned down a Walmart years ago. Now you got a Pretty Laundry, a dollar store, a Wendy's drive-in, and next to it is going to be this storage facility. After these people sue you because you didn't approve something at the site plan approval. I mean, they've gone through everything they needed to do. I don't know these people. I don't have anything to do with them. But this is just totally diametrically opposed to what you talked about last meeting about pushing projects through and getting them done. If you got too many beauty salons and you got too many laundromats and you got too many storage facilities, change your codes and don't allow them. But if it's allowed, it's a C1 district, there's no exemptions. What else do you want them to do? Are you going to end up buying the guy's property and putting workforce housing there? I mean, you got to change the zoning. Up to 4 years ago, this property was in the county. If it was built before we encompassed the property, you would have no question about it would already have been there. So I don't understand your thinking, or I guess it's lack of thinking.
Thank you very much. Public hearing is now closed. Yes.
Hello, I'm Veronica Guzman. I live at 540 Northwest 127th Street, and I have 3 concerns. It all has to do with safety. So my street is the last street. If you're going south, it's the last street that you have to turn on before you go into oncoming traffic that goes onto I-95. Everyone who turns on that street speeds down the street. So we have a concern. There have already been two vehicles damaged due to accidents. We have a concern. We wish to if we can't do a traffic circle at the end of the street because of the FPL electrical grid, we would like a speed bump to force people to have to slow down. The neighbor on the corner who had his car hit would like signage putting a do not enter, like a bigger sign that says do not enter, because people actually pass it, stop at the stop sign, pass, and go into oncoming traffic to turn on 126th Street.
Thank you very much. As a matter of fact, last week we were in the area on 5th Avenue with the transportation director. As a matter of fact, we are conducting a study to put a traffic circle on 129 and 5th to lower the traffic. But I'm waiting on John O'Brien. Okay? That's mean we do. And I was there. Thank you very much. And now, we close public hearing. That's Citizen Forum. You can come. You gotta come.
Just have a question before you close.
Yeah. Sorry. As I said before, I'm here on behalf of Kenneth Carson, architect, representing the storage facility that the board just turned down. Obviously, we have worked on this project for a little bit more than 6 months. And we have worked with the staff. We have tried to comply and accommodate every single requirement that came from the city staff as far as recommendations for the project to be improved. And I think we have done so. I heard already from the citizens that live in the district. I have seen no one objection on the project.
No, you don't live in the district.
No, I'm saying that I've been listening to the people that.
You don't live in. You say you live in the district. It doesn't.
They don't live in the district?
No.
Okay, well,
He
citizens
live in
of
the
the
city,
community.
but he doesn't live in the district.
Okay.
And I'm pretty much sure if he was by his house, he will complain about it.
Okay, well,
Thank you. Go ahead.
no, I was gonna say that, we haven't asked for any, special exemptions, variances on the project. The height limitation, it's, you know, we're way below the height established by the zoning. And I haven't heard anything from, at least, you know, the city council to say, you know, what you object on the project. And what will be the process for, coming back to you if that, you know, that's happened to be the case for an appeal.
Thank you very much, sir. And public hearing is now closed. And council reports. And can I make a quick comment I want to make? I just don't understand how come someone lives in the city for so long and they love the city so much, all they went to the city is storage, especially long-time resident of the city, who enjoying the water, and that's my comments on that thing. I'm not talking about the resident who spoke before. I'm talking about that's on the dice.
Okay.
That's Carol.
Okay, thank you. Two announcements. I want to invite everybody to a cybersecurity presentation tomorrow night at the Griffin Center, 6:30 to 8:30. Our IT department and management hired Salvent Technologies to do a complete cybersecurity study for our city. All employees were required to take online courses. For those of you who don't know, there were presentations here that all employees had to take. The presentation was fantastic. If they didn't take it, they weren't allowed to even get on our servers. But it's informative, it's entertaining. I thought it was just really important. I took it back to my office, to my personal, about getting hacked, about phone calls, getting fish smished, all this stuff. How to tell if something comes to you on your computer and it's suspect. So I thought it'd be nice or really important for our residents to see the same presentation. We've paid for it. I'm paying a little more just for the presentation. But please, you won't be sorry if you attend. You will absolutely take something away from it. So that's tomorrow night, 6:30 to 8:30. I want to share that with the residents. It's not just for my district. Next week.
Address. You
what?
didn't give the address.
Griffin Center?
Yeah, that's good.
People,
Yeah, that's
people don't
Griffin.
know where Griffin Center is, so.
No, I said you didn't give the address.
Griffin Center, it's on Dixie, and it's in the Griffin Center. We get that. Also, next Tuesday night, November 19th, I'm having a town hall meeting at the Griffin Center again, 6:30 to 8:30, co-hosting using our time from our Iron Manners and Central Homeowners Association. Also, Alhambra Heights Homeowners Association is hosting that with me. And main topics will be code enforcement. We're going to continue having more presentation, more discussion on the resilient NOMI we heard this evening. Something important is we have a new ordinance on parking your boats, trailers, and RVs, and we will have a little presentation. So now we can explain to our residents what you can and cannot do with these parking of the boats and trailers, and how you can get variances to make those legal. So town hall meeting next Tuesday night during the Iron Manners and Alhambra Heights Homeowners Association. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Scott. You didn't say you called. Tell everyone that you called.
Oh, no. I'm okay, because then they'll turn the AC off and we'll be like this.
Right.
Councilwoman Estime,
Thank you.
you have 30 minutes.
Oh,
for
great.
your report.
Yeah, so I'd like to first of all take out the time to thank all staff, all employees, all volunteer, all resident that participated in the Florida City Government Week. I'd also like to take out the time to thank our sponsors, the North Miami Chamber of Commerce, the Haitian American Chamber of Commerce of Florida, I mentioned North Miami employees, in particular Karen Federic. She actually came out and picked up garbage with us. I want to really give you a shout out. To the North Miami Police,
What's
our
her name?
beautiful chief, Jariga, and Hope. So I'd like to thank all of you. Again, also, as you realized during our consented agenda that we have a resolution for a couple of awareness for this month, for diabetes, for epilepsy, and one of them is also for the National Adoption Month. So on the 26th, we'll be having an exhibition out here in the lobby area. And the exhibition is going to be called Face of Adoption, and you'll have some information just to give awareness on the possibility of you adopting a child, and we'll provide more information in the next council meeting. So again, there'll be an exposition in the lobby area between 5 and 7 right before council meeting. So I hope you all attend, and that's all I have to say.
Councilman May.
Yes, sir. Mr. Manager, I have a couple of questions regarding Ms. Brown's claim, which you and we had some discussions of that, but I am concerned about Pepper Park. An email was sent on my behalf a week ago, last week, regarding the shelter thing. I walked in the evenings, and I guess the concern is not only there, but many there. So what is going on, and how do we remedy that situation? Is it a problem of staffing? There is a lack of program, which I am very upset about, and I have been over a year, but I haven't really been, upset about it. But it's not looking good.
Okay.
Go ahead, sir.
So with regards to the crews, we've had some issues with some folks on light duty, as well as some of the cutbacks we made. We are I'm working with the Parks Director. In fact, we met for a few hours last week to address that concern. So if you give me to the end of this week, I'll roll out an email to you that addresses how we're going to go forward.
And also the cover.
The cover, yes.
Because it's bad. And also the traffic circle. I know we talked about that. I know Public Works
has been out. They've looked at all of them, and we will be addressing the.
If you guys could, at least I want to see the pictures. We just want it to look
better,
pretty and
yes,
nice,
yes.
not crazy. And then Cecil Pool update.
It is.
What's the final word?
It is nearly done. Matter of fact, our project manager sent some photos today.
Okay.
So we're days away from completion.
Okay, thank you. That's basically it, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you very much, Mr. And I have a couple of questions for Arthur Soy, since you are the one in charge of that, what do you call it? The garden, the red garden, right?
Yeah, he's in charge. That's the red.
And are you putting a plan together with, after consulting with mayor and council, on how it's gonna look like before we?
We'll be working. We'll continue to work. Once we get the site work started, we will be meeting with council to go over the aesthetics and some of the particulars of how it will look and feel.
Okay.
For the site.
Right now, you're gonna start with the cleanup.
Yes, the cleanup is gonna start immediately. Yes, sir.
What about the statues over there? We own it?
We don't own the statues. The big statues are going to be cleaned and restored and will become part of the artwork on the site. Some of the smaller statues we will use, and all of the statue work is, we're working with MoCA and the museum to beautify the statues. Some of the smaller ones will be used
That's when
on
we
the
own
site.
it then.
Huh?
We own
the agreement we have. We are required to store them. We can't get rid of them.
Yeah.
So we can use them on the site as part of the agreement, but we can't get rid of them.
What about if it gets stolen?
If they get what?
Stolen.
We've been out there.
We're gonna hope that doesn't happen.
Those statues.
I didn't tell you that was a part of the agreement.
Yes, it was.
You know, since people know it's owned by the city, now you won't have one by tomorrow.
Well, we don't own it. We lease it.
Eh?
We don't own it. We lease it.
You lease it?
Yeah.
But how come you take responsibility for the?
That was part of the
what about
settlement.
if someone stole one of them and they say it costs $1 million?
The property's insured, so.
Oh.
And
Those
Oh.
statues are so heavy.
They
to go
weigh
into.
so much, sir.
And they've been there since I was a little boy. They ain't going there.
Okay.
You can't pick
okay,
'em up.
it's okay. I just would like to have the plan, the aesthetic and
Yeah, I agree. Because my only little concern is the incubator. I'm a little concerned about that component, but
the truck.
yeah,
I don't. See, I
well,
need.
we
We
waiting
need a
to see.
nice one,
Yeah.
like with
what I
the
said.
art, with mural,
Mhm.
thing like that. Very nice, like Winwood. We don't want just something. I don't want
I don't
you
like
to,
mural.
to do something because you're gonna tell me 7 Northwest.
Yeah.
You said like
Yeah,
Winwood, he
and
said he
then
doesn't like Winwood.
Yeah, I don't.
yeah, that's fine with me.
Something
It's
nice.
your just
Something
but
nice and look good.
We want something nice over there.
We
like
will. There will-
anybody can use it for big events. Like we're talking about the Super Bowl weekend. That's when it can be a destination on I-95 about those 3 days, Super Bowl, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and take advantage of those. And most
Make it look
likely,
good.
we need it to be a rental property. It's not something for us to do events, but to be rented out and to events. And
Yes, sir, it will be
And
an
I
event
think
space,
we,
sir.
the chief of police, got to go over there. We got to making sure when it comes to safety, people drive by in a car and
We
kill
have
people on
already,
site. All those things need to be taken in consideration
The,
before.
the police have already done the traffic and the outlay. They've been there at the site with us.
safety and
Everybody's been on the
everything,
site.
yeah.
Public Works Police.
Okay.
Everybody's been on the site. To
My
look at all of
only
those.
But we need a
concern-
nice thing.
That's what I told him.
We
need-
want a nice thing. We don't want just, you're not going to tell me because it's 7th Avenue Northwest, you're just going to twist
Oh no, they
something
better
out.
not. Miss Alston and Miss Brown and I will be over there fighting. He better
Okay.
not. They
That's
don't
when
do
we
that.
need a nice
We
place.
answered that question when you said that I was in charge of it, sir.
Because on the
Please.
82nd, I went to a rooftop.
Oh Lord, that's more concerning.
Okay.
It will be really nice, sir.
The only concern, Mr. Mayor, is, and I shared it with Arthur. I don't know if we get a big the parking. We got to address that. If you have something with all these people,
The parking will be on site. We've already identified a minimum of 160 parking spaces.
What?
But you can do street parking since it's a commercial
Oh, okay.
area. Just those 2 streets and in the back. But we need something for when you're driving by on
Yeah, he said
I-95.
you
You
don't
should
do
be
that.
able to
To
see
see.
there is to see.
We will make sure there's a North Miami landmark from 95 that you
Yeah,
will see
we'll see it.
on both sides passing by, sir.
We want to make sure after downtown with the second destination for Super Bowl with the Dolphin.
all right now.
You never know. 97
That's
qualifies
concluded.
for the playoff.
Thank you very much, Madam Clerk. It's for you. The floor is yours.
All right. The Miami-Dade Commission on Ethics and Public Trust is holding a clean campaign class on November 20th, which is next Wednesday, at the Surfside Commission chambers on the 2nd floor. Candidates, campaign workers, and politically active citizens involved in local elections are encouraged to attend the Clean Campaign class sponsored by the Miami-Dade Commission on Ethics and Public Trust and the Miami-Dade County Department of Elections on Wednesday, November 20th, 2019. The 2-hour seminar from 6:30 to 8:30 p.m. will feature representatives from the Ethics Commission and the Elections Department who will provide essential information to avoid legal pitfalls, correctly raise and report funds, properly keep records, and understand the legal and ethical obligations of seeking public office. The class is free and open to the public. And that is all for this evening.
You're set, Madam Clerk? You finished? You're not going to do any board appointments? No?
The city manager and I are in discussions and working with city staff who serve as the liaisons to the different boards to conduct an assessment as to their viability and to see how we will be moving forward. So I believe that you'll be briefed once we have results from those assessments. I believe each of you will be briefed on these specific boards and also reminded as to which ones we still need to make appointments.
Okay. As far as the Board of Adjustment, the Planning Commission, Do we have quorum to move forward those important boards?
Yes.
Anything like that? Okay.
I believe the only other one was the library board, that they don't have quorum, and so if anybody
The
has any
education.
that,
I actually have someone that I can appoint.
You need an application.
The person hasn't done an
Okay,
application
go ahead.
already. It's Rose, I forget.
Which one?
I thought we were about to adjourn.
We're going to
Yeah,
adjourn.
yes,
It's
yes, I'm so sorry.
But we'll do it
Board
next
member.
week.
No, let me do this now so that they can have,
Okay.
board, it's Rose.
they still wouldn't have quorum, just for the record.
They have quorum.
They still would not have quorum, even if I appoint someone now? Is that what you're saying?
That's my understanding.
Yes, okay. And can I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Yes, yes. Go ahead, sorry.
Thank you, sir. Very quickly, I want to publicly acknowledge two employees. Shauna Sheldon, our MOCA director, and Natasha Colebrook Williams. After
Natasha didn't do nothing.
a 2+ year process, I'd like to formally announce, or at least publicly announce, the city got its museum accreditation back. I know the process got started with Natasha, and of course, Shauna carried the ball over the finish line for us. The staff, I want to thank all the staff at MOCA, the supportive staff, because I know Public Works, and we've had physical facility issues, and a lot of things had to come together. And I also need to acknowledge each of you. One of the biggest statements that the accrediting association said was the reason why they did it was the commitment, the financial commitment, and the commitment that you all showed to the museum. So you all are to be thanked for ensuring that this happened. There's another announcement I'd like to make, but I can't make it till February.
No, you cannot.
So
you see the chief is looking at you.
But something else great is coming. So with that, thank you.
Thank you very much. At the same time, talking about the museum, did I see a plan about renovation of the courtyard, something like that?
Yes, we are. It's the rear courtyard. We've been working on that. That's a CRA project.
Okay.
So it is.
You working?
forward.
Okay, that's mean
Yeah,
the
it's gonna,
plan
it's,
is
it's
done.
designed
I would
similar
like
to the front.
to
Give
have
an
a
update?
say about
Okay,
it.
alrighty.
Especially what we're gonna do with the top. Okay, thank you very much, City Attorney. Do you have any reports?
No report, sir. Move to
Thank-
adjourn.
Thank you very much. Good night, everyone.